Hey, thanks for tuning in and welcome to another episode of Young Entrepreneurs. The first thing that you might notice is the absence of Ali. Ali was not able to make it. Ali was not able to join me for this video for reasons, but the show must go on. I want to make this video because as I was going through my YouTube subscriptions, I saw this video titled "How to be taken seriously as a young entrepreneur" by Patrick David. I think it was a great video. You should definitely check it out. I just want to throw my 2 cents in there and give you a perspective from an entrepreneur in real time. That was the whole point of the show, to give you an insight of an entrepreneur in the making in real time. I really believe in starting out rich, and this is my way of doing it. So this is my take on how to be taken seriously as a young entrepreneur. Now the first thing is the most important thing that has gotten me. I've been through numerous events where people could have easily neglected me. People would have easily looked over me. But I was able to capitalize on one thing, and that one thing is that you need to be able to walk the talk and walk the walk. When you're a young entrepreneur, people instantly think of you as, you don't know a whole lot. You're just someone who just wants things, you just want to be successful. You're not completely determined. You're not completely committed to your success. You're not. That is the reason people don't take you seriously, because they think that you are not able to add as much value as someone who's more knowledgeable, for someone who's more experienced. That is the only reason that people don't take you seriously. If you can prove to people that you are committed, you are determined, you are someone who can truly add value, then people instantly start taking you more seriously. If you conduct yourself in a manner where you're able to portray that is when people start taking you seriously. This is the one thing that has gotten people to take me seriously. Rather than talking about it, let action speak for you. Right? The way that you dress, the way that you conduct yourself, the way that you portray yourself, the way that you speak to people. Just let all of that demonstrate that you are someone to be taken seriously, right? This is something that I realized quite earlier on. Okay, so now when I roll out of a nice car, when I'm wearing a nice suit, when my shoes are polished, and I'm wearing a watch, and I'm conducting myself in a professional manner, people instantly start taking me seriously, right? I got myself a car because it buys me back time. I'm not saying that everyone should go and get a car, but I got a car. The reason for me to get a car was because it buys me back time, right? It saves me time on my travels. The travel that used to take me an hour, 2 hours, it takes me 15 minutes now. It allows me to buy back the energy that was exerted before in travel. If you travel for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours straight, and you tell me that you don't feel exhausted, you don't feel exerted, then there's something wrong with you, or you're on some type of drugs. So having a car allowed me to buy back the energy that was exerted. It also allowed me to buy convenience. I was able to get to places that I wasn't able to get to before. The weather doesn't affect me. It doesn't matter how cold, how warm the weather is outside. It doesn't matter if it's snowing. All I have to do is literally just get out of my house, get in the car, put the heater on, or put the AC on, and I'm comfortable, and I'm able to I'm able to get to wherever I want to go. The other thing is that it's reliable, right? Having a car buys me reliability. So for all those reasons, I got myself a car, and I got myself a nice looking car, and a car that looks that suits my vision, right? It makes me look like an executive. So the way that you conduct yourself, the way that you portray yourself, the way that you talk, the way that you walk, the way that you dress, everything says something about you. All of that adds up, and all of that allows a person to take you more seriously, because they see that, okay, there's something about this person, he's not fooling around, he's not going to mess around, and he knows what he's doing. Right? And So that starts with you. That starts with you, and that starts with having a great attitude. So I think that is the one thing that has gotten me to where I am right now. When I go to places, when I see people, when I travel with people, when I just strike up a conversation with people, I'm conducting myself in a manner that I would want to conduct myself, that I see myself, how I see myself when I'm successful. If I conduct myself in that manner, I'm bound to have people take me more seriously. Because they can already see that I'm already practicing what I want to be like. I've had people say to me that I'm really knowledgeable about what I'm talking about. I've had people say to me that I'm really experienced in what I'm talking about, and that is because I conduct myself in a manner that allows people to take me more seriously. I talk in a manner that allows people to take me more seriously. I know about my field and what I do more than what most people would know. I go the extra mile for people, and that's what allowed me to be taken seriously. I was in an interview once, and I was the youngest. I was single-handedly the youngest person in that room. The room consisted of people in their 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s, and during that interview, the interviewer told me that, in his opinion, I seem more successful than most of the people out there, because most of the people out there took 30 years, 40 years to get to a level where they're knowledgeable enough to speak like the way that they speak at that time. So if I'm able to speak the way I'm able to talk and conduct myself in the way that I am right now, at this age, surely I'm set up for a better future. Surely I'm set up for success. So you need to be able to practice success before you get success. That is the reason that I dress the way that I dress. That's the reason that I talk the way that I talk. That is the reason that I conduct myself the way that I conduct. Just the other day, my father told me, we were driving. My father said to me that he wished that he knew some of the things that I know right now. He could conduct himself and talk the way that I'm talking right now, and I'm sure he's proud of that, and I take that as a blessing. I'm blessed. I feel blessed to be talking the way that I'm talking right now. For me, it started from making a decision. I grew up in London. I spent most of my time in London. I grew up in London. And there was a point where I decided enough was enough. I wasn't happy with the stage that I was at life. I didn't feel that I was going anywhere. I didn't feel that I was progressing as I should have been, as I would have liked to. And I just decided enough was enough. And I was in an environment where I wasn't able to perform the best in that environment. I was just in an environment where I couldn't work on my self-development, where I couldn't focus, where I couldn't concentrate. So I just made a decision that enough was enough. I made a promise to myself. I committed to myself. One of the most powerful things that you can do is make a promise to yourself. Make a commitment to yourself. You can break a promise with other people. You can break your commitments with other people, but you cannot possibly run away from your own promise to yourself. That's one of the most powerful things that I've found that you can do as an individual. Once you commit to yourself, everything just becomes so much more clearer. So an opportunity came along, and I decided to take this opportunity. And this opportunity was in another city. It was in Manchester. It was roughly about 200 miles away. But I decided to take that opportunity. Me and Ali decided to take that opportunity. To be honest, it wasn't so much about the opportunity. Frankly, it was nothing to do with the opportunity. It was about the opportunity of developing myself and working on my own self-development, allowing myself room to grow. There's just something about you pushing yourself in a situation that you cannot get out of that just brings the best out of you. So I left home. Like I've at that point I had never spent more than a day or two without my family, and at that time I just made a decision that I just have to go. I just have to take some time away from family, because that just was not the environment for me to grow and for me to be able to do the things that I wanted to do. So I made that decision. I made that leap of faith, and that was one of the best things that could have happened to me. So away from home, you realize at home you're too comfortable. When you're in your comfort zone, you're not growing in your comfort zone. You cannot grow when you're comfortable. You cannot learn new things when you're comfortable. You don't discover yourself when you're comfortable. When you're in your comfort zone, once you step out of your comfort zone, that's where life begins. And that's exactly what I did. The best classroom isn't the best. The best place to learn isn't a classroom. The best place for you to learn is in the classroom of your mind. And you learn in the classroom of your mind. The best way to stimulate that classroom of your mind is isolation. And I found that out, that once I was isolated, I was able to develop myself, work on myself, the way that I never had before. I was able to think about things that I wasn't able to with everything going on in the background. With all the responsibilities sort of burdened on my shoulders, that I had to make the bill payments, I had to pay my rent, I had to pay for my car, I had to pay the fuel, I had to pay for my food, and I had to prepare my own food. At home, I was giving, my dishes were done for me. My food was prepared for me and served, hot meals served on the table, and the most that I had to do was eat it. That was, so when you're sort of used to that sort of comfort, I think it's important for you to sort of experience the other side of it, where you have to do things for yourself, where you have to produce for yourself. Once you allow yourself to be in a situation like that, you learn responsibilities. You learn how to manage responsibilities. So I think it was a great experience for me. And that really allowed me to grow and to expand and to discover things about myself that I didn't know before. It wasn't about capitalizing on that opportunity. It was more about feeding the inner entrepreneur that I had, the inner entrepreneur spirit that I had. Okay, so I want to take you through. A few steps that I wrote down that I think are very, very important for you to be taken seriously as a young entrepreneur. The number one thing, as I mentioned, is you need to be able to walk the talk and walk the walk. You need to be able to have the actions do all the speaking for you. The way you present yourself, the way you act, the way you walk, the way you talk, that needs to demonstrate that you are someone to be taken seriously, that you are someone who can add value. The second thing is have a great attitude. You can't control a lot of things in life. You cannot control the weather. You can't control the travel schedule. You can't control the economy. You can't control the decline of prices or increase in prices. You can't control what's happening in the property market. You can't control a lot of things, but the one thing that you can control is your attitude. If you have a positive attitude, if you have your attitude right, you can get anything. You can get anything in life that you want. If you have a great attitude, you're not limited to various factors. If your attitude is that I need to get something done and I need to have the best positive outlook, then suddenly the weather doesn't count anymore. The weather doesn't affect you anymore. The travel delays don't affect you anymore. The economy doesn't affect you anymore. So it's quite important for you to have a great attitude. Number 3 is be willing to do more for people than anyone else would do. As a young entrepreneur, you need to be able to go the extra mile for people. You need to show people that you really care, that you are service orientated, that you have other people's best interests in mind. Do whatever it takes. Be more knowledgeable about your field. Be more enthusiastic than anyone else is. Be more energetic than anyone else is. Number 4 is get some experience. You need to get experience in whatever field you're in. You need to get some experience in being an entrepreneur and being a business owner. And that comes with taking action. You need to take action almost immediately. Get a little bit of knowledge and then act upon it immediately. That's how you're going to get experience. By experience, I don't just mean go and work for someone else. That is a good way of getting experience too, but the best way of getting experience is if you've got an idea, if you've got a thought, instantly execute it and you'll see results. You'll see whether it works, whether it doesn't work. So number 5, if you don't have experience, if you don't have experience yet, then you need to get knowledge. You need to be knowledgeable about. You need to be more knowledgeable than anyone else that is on the same playing field as you. Maybe that includes other people's experience. So you need to know about other people's experience. If you don't have experience of your own, then learn from other people's experiences. Learn from other people's mistakes. See what other people are doing and get experience off them. Basically, get secondary experience. You have access to great resources that will allow you an insight on other people's experiences, and you can spin off from there. Number 6 is become a solutions orientated person. I covered this in my last video. That is currently being edited right now, and it would be live some point this week or next week. That businesses are built around a key fundamental, and that key fundamental is problem solving. All businesses are built around problem solving. So if you are a solutions oriented person, if you are a person who is able to solve problems, because businesses, enterprises, they're all just a problem solving game, and if you are a good problem solver and you are a solutions oriented person, you're bound to succeed, and you're bound to get more people interested in what you're doing. Number 7, add value first. Have other people's best interest in your mind, and be genuine about it. Be a genuine service to the people. There's a saying that success is an obligation on you. Success is an obligation. If you add value first, you're bound to be successful. If you add value first to someone, they're bound to add value back to you. Number 8 is have a good discipline, and show that discipline. Show people that discipline. People should be able to highlight and identify you as a good disciplined person, as always delivering, as being responsible. You need to, and that allows you, a good discipline allows you to build a good track record. Number 9 is practice success before you get success. As I mentioned earlier, you need to practice success before you get success. Now, there was one thing that hit me. I was in London over the weekend, spending time with my family, and on this particular day, I think we were out most of the day. Came back in the evening, and I just went to the bedroom, and I just lied down. I wanted to rest, and I was obviously going to fall asleep. I just had a thought to myself that, okay, I'm here in London to visit my family, to spend time with my family, to spend time with my little sister. How do I expect to be successful in the future and spend more time wisely in the future if I can't do that right now? How do I expect to wake up early, maybe at 4 o'clock in the morning, go to the gym, come back at 5 o'clock, start working maybe 6 o'clock, work throughout the day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. because that's just how I planned, that's just how I sort of envision my future to be. So work from 6 to 6 and then come back home, spend time with my family, spend time, if I have kids, spend time with my kids. How do I expect to do that if I can't do that right now? If I don't build up my energy, my stamina to take that right now, how do I expect that in the future? So you need to be able to practice success before you get success, and avoid bad habits, right? A lot of the young entrepreneurs, they see these successful people, they see businessmen dressed sharp, taking smoke breaks and smoking outside of the office or something like that. And they instantly adopt those habits onto themselves. Like, okay, fine, to look like I'm successful, to look like a businessman, I need to smoke, I need to take smoke breaks. You don't need to do that. Avoid the bad habits in order for you to expand on your good habits. Leading on from that, you need to dress sharp. You need to dress to impress. You need to dress professionally. Think about how a banker would feel comfortable dealing with you. Think about how you would have to dress for a banker to feel comfortable dealing with you. Because think about it, we all deal with bankers. Bankers are they're like gatekeepers to your wealth, to your riches, right? Because most of us now bank. There aren't many people who deal in cash right now. And if you are dealing with large sums of money, you are bound to bank. So think about how a banker will feel. It doesn't just have to be business transactions. Think about, we come into, we deal with bankers on on more occasions than we think about. Maybe it's like a loan, a personal loan, a business loan. Maybe it's a mortgage that you're dealing with. Maybe it's just depositing money, accounting, financial advice, business advice. I don't know, whatever it is. If you're dealing with a banker, think how he would feel comfortable dealing with you. Bankers are always sort of dressed professionally, dressed smart. So that is something that you need to emulate, right? And that should be something that is in your head that allows you to dress sharp, dress smart. That is a vision that you need to have. That is an image that you need to have in your mind. Number 11 is focus on bettering yourself, invest in your self-improvement, right? Because you are your own best asset, and that is what you need to understand. Work on self-development, work on yourself, find yourself, better yourself, and always look to improve yourself, always look to better yourself. Number 12 is emulate success. One of the best ways in becoming successful and getting people to take you more seriously as a young entrepreneur is to emulate someone who's already been there, who is now successful. Right? Think about how they dress, think about how they act, think about how they talk, think about how they walk. If you can emulate them, if you can emulate a person who's already successful, who other people already take seriously, you're bound to be taken serious. Because of that, you need to find yourself a good mentor. You need to interact with people who allow you to conduct yourself in a manner that you are taking more seriously. Now, the last thing that I want to leave you with is a sort of like a disclaimer, a caution, that you need to be careful on who you take advice from as a young entrepreneur, at a young stage, at an early stage. And you need to be very, very careful on who you take the knowledge from, because you're surrounded by people who most of the time don't know what they're doing or don't know what they're talking about. They're not the experts in their field. Get the advice from the best, get the knowledge from the best in the field, and ignore any negativity, right? One of the examples is teachers. Teachers in schools always teach you to be realistic, right? Have realistic goals. If you have realistic, it's better to fall short on massive goals than to fall short on realistic goals. So if you're playing a sport and you can only maybe run up to 1,000 meters, aim to run 10,000 meters, because if you aim to run 10,000 meters, then maybe even if you can do half of that, that's 5,000 meters. That's better than your realistic goal of 1,000 meters. Okay. Teachers sometimes don't give the best advice. They teach you to be safe. Sometimes parents don't give you the best advice, because a parent's job is to purely protect a child. Their job is to provide a safe place for the child, a good environment for the child. Their job isn't necessarily to teach you how to be successful, how to find your path in life, or to how to be a producer, how to produce income, how to make money. Their job purely is just to protect you and get you through the stage where you can make decisions, get you through to a stage where you are able to make decisions, where you are mature. That differs from different people. For some people, it might be 9 years old, as early as 8 years old, 7 years old. For some people, it might be 18 years old, 21 years old, 24 years old. That varies for different people. But a parent's job is just to protect his child and make sure that the child makes it to a stage where they're able to make their life decisions. Their job is literally just to keep the child alive to the point where they're able to make their life decisions and where they're able to realize and recognize their purpose in life. Their job isn't necessarily to give the best advice, because a parent will always protect a child, right? When I wanted to do business, when I wanted to become an entrepreneur, my parents discouraged me, not because they wanted the worst for me, because they were thinking in my best interest. They didn't want to see me fail. They didn't want to see me get hurt. And that is a parent. They were doing their job as a parent, but it is ultimately your job as an entrepreneur to take it upon yourself to make the decision in life, of you taking risks, because taking risk is a key fundamental of being an entrepreneur, and that is something that no teacher, no parent can teach you. So I want to leave you on that note, that you need to be very, very careful on who you take advice from. Be very careful on whose advice you accept. If there's any negativity, if people are telling you that no, you cannot do that, or you're bound to fail, don't do that, that's an indicator to me that they're probably not the best people to take advice from. If you want to set up a business, if you want to set up a venture, and if people are telling you that no, you're going to fail in that, maybe they're not the right people in giving you advice. Maybe you want to hear from people who've had great experiences, who have some actual, or maybe some people might discourage you, and they might be the right people, but they will be able to back up their opinions with some serious facts, and you'll know that, and it is down to you to make the decision on who you take advice from. So that's my take on how to be taken seriously as a young entrepreneur. I hope you liked the video. You can find us on social media. The social media links will be what should be in the video. They will be in the description below. Also check out the video by Patrick Bet-David, the sort of inspiration, the sort of initial inspiration for this video. So I hope you like this video. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. I don't have to be right on all other things, and I accept that. I accept that as an entrepreneur. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. Let me know if you agree with me. Let me know if you disagree with me. If you disagree with me, let me know why. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to read your comments. But these are the things that I just think are quite important for young entrepreneurs to take on board and to be taken more seriously. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.